Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, joined by outside linebackers coach Ryan Greenhagen. Coach, you're one of the greatest Fordham football players in history. 425 tackles. That's a program record. 31 tackles in a single game against Nebraska. That's an NCAA record. You're a legend here. We appreciate you taking some time to talk with us.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
This year, Evan and I, we've been following James Conway's pursuit of your career tackling record, the Patriot League tackling record. He tied your record 2 weeks ago against Colgate. We talked to Coach Conley, and he said, there's no one that wants Jimmy to break that record more than yourself. Just take us into that relationship and what it's been like to have a teammate chase one of your own records.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. He's one of the most impressive people that I've ever been around in my life, not just my time at Fordham. And if there's anybody deserving of it, it's him. And, he and I are on the same wavelength where the records, the outcomes, all of the hoopla, as it were, that's not really the most important part. The most important part is the process that goes into these things, the passion that you have for the game, and there is nobody that has that like he does. And it was an honor to work with him. It's an honor to work with him now, and he's truly just a special guy.
Coach Conlon mentioned to us that as soon as James got here as a young freshman, he told him to follow around Ryan Greenhagen, do as he does. So what did that look like? What little things, little pieces of advice did you give him along the way?
Yeah, I mean, from really the first time that I met him, the first practice, it was kind of my thing. I like to stay after, work on things that I felt like I needed improvement from every practice. And, kudos to him is he asked if he could stay with me one day after practice, and we worked on some extra stuff, and then from then on out, there was never a practice where he wasn't doing extra stuff with me. And I think that just that and developing that mindset of just constant improvement, relentlessly pursuing your goals, I think that has been it. I think he had it before he met me, but if I had any part to play in it, I hope that would be it, because he's naturally just a great football player and naturally such an impressive human being that putting that forward and finding a way to harness that into the game of football, I think was what it was all about.
And I'm curious, does he do the Greenhagen breakfast, the 10 eggs, the oatmeal, whole plate of oatmeal on the side, all of that?
Yeah, definitely a version of it. I don't think he does 10. I think he does 8. But in terms of, doing the diet, the nutrition, the weight room, everything that he does is dedicated towards being the best player that he can be. And he's taken that to heart. He's taken it in stride, and now he's inspiring the younger guys to do it. And that's something it's very special.
On the note of inspiring the younger guys, Conlon told us that in a similar way that he told James to follow yourself, he told freshman linebacker Jalen Dawson, follow James Conway, do whatever he does. How have you seen James now as a senior evolve as a leader in this room, getting to watch him as a coach?
Yeah, I mean, that's been something that's been really special, because obviously, you see these guys progress. I was a senior when he showed up, and just to see him become more vocal, see him become that guy that everyone can rely on is it's really, really cool to see. It's something that he's certainly worked on, and it's something that he's really good at. And especially this past year, just seeing him take those strides has been really great. Jalen's doing a great job and making sure that he is staying with Jimmy and just learning the ropes. It's an awesome thing, and it'll pay dividends, I promise.
You played an entire season alongside James Conway. What does he bring to a defense?
I think his most impressive trait is just that relentless desire to get to the football. That's one thing that you can always control, is that effort, and he exemplifies that as well as anybody that I've ever seen play the game. Yes, he's strong, he's fast, and he naturally has a knack for getting to the ball, but it's the effort each and every play. That is what he brings. It brings energy. It shows his teammates how much he cares, and that is why he is having the success that he has.
We've always joked, it feels like, whenever there's a run, James Conway is standing in the hole. It feels like he's always in the right spot. As someone that was a linebacker that was pretty good at tackling himself, like, What goes into that? Building off of that question, why is he just feels like always in the right spot?
Well, so much of it's the preparation that we talked about. Not only is it the stuff on the field during practice or, whatever you do after practice. No, it's also what he does in the film room, watching extra film, learning, having an idea as to what they are going to do before they actually do it. And, again, like everything else in his life, he does a really, really good job of making sure that he is ultra prepared. And, again, that pays dividends for him on the field. And again, and also naturally, he just has that instinct for the football, and combine that with effort and preparation, you're going to find yourself with the ball.
You made a really quick transition from team player into coach now as the team's outside linebacker coach, so quick that you've actually played with a lot of players on the team that you now coach. We talked to Niall Perkins earlier in the season. He joked that he keeps slipping up and calling you Greenie instead of Coach Greenhagen on the field, and he has to correct himself. So what was that transition like into coaching, and how is it like coaching guys that you played on the field with?
Yeah, and the transition's been great. Obviously, I was gone for a year, and to have the opportunity to come back, Coach Conlon was very gracious to bring me back, and it's been an awesome experience. In terms of coaching the guys that I played with, I like to say that when I was here, I was almost a kind of a coachy player, if that makes any sense. So I think that there was hopefully a respect there that made this a little bit easier. But at the end of the day, the guys know that I just want what's best for them, whether it's on the field, off the field, classroom, just life. Right? I truly care about them, and I know that they know that, and I think that's what's made it an easier transition. What I told my guys, the outside linebackers when I first got here was, I look at my job as I want to put you in the best possible position to succeed. So whatever I can do to do that, that is what I want to do, and still working on it, working out the kinks. It's a new experience, but it's been fantastic so far, and I feel very blessed to be back.
As your playing career had progressed, was that something that was maybe in the back of your mind of, I really like this game, I really like this sport, I'd love to go into coaching?
Oh yeah, I love football. That was never in question, never doubted. Whether it was coaching or being a part of the game in some way. Absolutely. That was always in the back of your mind, or back of my mind. And then when Coach came with the opportunity, it was it was a dream come true. So
some of the defensive players we've gotten a chance to talk to, Niall specifically, but even Conlon's talked about your work with Jaworski as well, that your mind in the film room, that you were always, Niall called you a genius when it comes to watching film. Like, I'm really curious where you think maybe that started, and has that always been a skill for you in terms of being able to pick out certain things, offensive formation, stuff like that?
Oh, I don't. Genius is a strong word, but I'll take it.
Niall.
I'll take it. But I think it just comes with practice, and it's constantly just trying to improve on it too. I got here as a coach now, and you're looking at things a little bit differently, and there's things that I'm like, I gotta up my game a little bit, and the other coaches, the assistant coaches, Coach Conlon, have been very, very, very helpful in that. But from playing perspective, it was just, I'll watch it as many times as I need to. I will take as many notes as I need to, so that I can learn and succeed. And that was kind of the way I looked at things. And eventually, you just kind of pick it up as you go along. And like I said, I've seen some of these younger guys kind of adopt that same approach, which is awesome to see. And it's I think it's been helpful.
The theme of older players helping out younger players, taking them under their wing, especially in the linebacking core. You start with you, Conway, now Jalen Dawson. I wanted to take a step even further back and go to Glenn Cunningham and how he played a part in your progression and your advancement here at Fordham.
Yeah, Glenn was just truly a great teammate, and one that you can't underrate in kind of this lineage of linebackers we have, because he not only was he a great player, he was just truly a great person, and he was an All-American linebacker as a freshman, and I come in behind him, and he did everything that he could to teach me, and I am who I am because he helped me, and because I'm sure somebody helped him before that. So the fact that we do have this sort of tradition of linebackers that, you know, kind of pass down whatever wisdom we are able to find, it's a really special thing.
Are there any teammates, if you graduated, they could still be in this locker room that you go, they could make a pretty good coach, maybe see them back in this locker room 2-3 years in a different role?
Oh, I mean, there's tons of them. I mean, you know, I love Mike Courtney. You know, he's my position group, obviously, and he's got as good a football mind of a player as anyone I know. Obviously, Jimmy Jaworski, you know, you talk about Niall, you know, all these guys, all of them are just really impressive guys, both on and off the field. And I'm sure all of them, if that's something that they were interested in doing, I'm sure they could have a lot of success in it.
Conlon, I'll end with this. Conlon at Media Day had talked about driving through your old hometown, and that was the spark for him that, let's call Greenhagen. He's the Linehan. He said, let's call Greeny up, see if he wants to coach for us. What was your perspective of that phone call? Like, what was your reaction when you heard the news?
Yeah, it was funny. I was eating dinner with my family, and I got there was a missed call, so I wasn't looking at my phone. And when I ended up looking at it, I had a couple texts. He was like, you know, call me when you get a chance. And then I think he called me again, and I was like, well, this is either gonna be really good or really bad. And it ended up being really good. And he offered it to me, and I asked for a day to think it over, and within 8 hours, I knew I wanted to come back. And, you know, obviously the transition from playing to coaching can be a difficult one, but at the same time, coming back and doing it here at a place that I love so much, feel at home. I mean, you know, Fordham is it's home. So being able to do it here has been nothing short of a dream. So just extremely grateful to be back, and, you know, hopefully bring some success our way.
Outside Linebackers coach Ryan Greenhagen. The Fordham career tackling record may not last for long. You're tied with James Conway. Conway 7 shy of tying the Patriot League record, but for Evan Harkin, for Lou Orlando, Coach, thank you for taking some time with us.
Thank you for having me.
On behalf of WFUV Sports,